Today, my featured guest is Wesley Mathews, and he is the founder and CEO of High Level Marketing, a marketing agency focused on optimizing websites for B2C companies. Number-wise, they've been featured in Inc. 5000 list 3 times already: 2016, 2018, 2019, and in 2021. They're crushing it. They're planning to reach $21 million in revenue. They currently have over 100 employees as well. And when not helping clients optimize their websites, Wesley is spending time with his 4 awesome boys outdoors. And he just broke the news. He's got a baby girl on the way. Come on. This is
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
crazy. Just
It's
what I need,
crazy.
another five kids at
Five
40 years old.
kids. Let's go. You can do it. So, Wesley Mathews, welcome to your first 100K Top 100 podcast in entrepreneurship. Just take a minute, fill in some of the gaps in that intro, would you?
Yeah, thanks, Joseph. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so started a digital marketing company in 2009, actually 2006. So I think I was in my mid 20s. I was writing mortgages for a bank. And I went from selling 0 loans for the first 6 months to going to the top producer list.
How'd you do
Um,
that? Like, what was the number one strategy?
so I started to like look around me and I'm like, these guys are killing. Like, what am I doing? So I actually reached out to the top producers in the company and just bugged like 20 of them. 18 of them said, go fuck yourself. 2 of them were kind enough to like work with me and say, look, here's what we're doing. And I basically took their model, right? Because I think as an entrepreneur and a visionary, I just wanted to like take on everything. They actually had a process of what was successful. So I just adopted that process, stuck to the game plan, and was successful. And I kind of looked in the mirror and said, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. It was super stressful at the time. I'm a young kid. What could I do where businesses would take me serious, but that I could impact a lot of businesses and really drive value? For me, it was websites and digital marketing. Anybody in the world wants to talk to a 25-year-old at that time about digital because they had no idea. So, I started my own company then in '06 as my kind of a solo entrepreneur. High Level Marketing was created in 2009. So I actually had that domain name in my back pocket for 3 years before I did anything with it. And my first 3 years of my own business kind of led into the birth and creation of High Level Marketing. So
Yeah, that makes
I think your
sense.
listeners as an entrepreneur would appreciate this story really quick. Like I woke up in a cold sweat at like 4 a.m. one night and I was like chanting High Level Marketing. Like I just woke up like High Level Marketing, ran on my computer, went to cheapnames.com, and that domain name was available. And I bought it for $7 back in '06. Because at the time, if anybody listening, like it's really hard to get a good domain name. So I don't know why I did it, how I heard it, but I grabbed it, bought it, and I sat on it for 3 years until we actually birthed the company.
That's cool. That's a cool story. Sometimes you have that inner intuition, some call it God, right? Holy Spirit prompting you, and you have no idea why. And you just like, all right, I either act on this or it's going to keep taunting me. Let me
Yep.
just go take the action, right?
Yep.
And then 3 years later,
Yeah.
because not every like genius moment is for right now. It's not for
Right.
today. It could be for tomorrow. It could be for 3 years later. What a great URL, High Level Marketing, right? That's an entire like industry niche
Yeah.
right there. I'm sure it's worth a lot. Like if you ever crashed and burned with your company, you can always recoup your costs from the URL. Sell
Exactly.
that baby, right?
Get that going for me.
All right, awesome. So let's get into your story. But before we do, share something personal about you that very few people in your business life actually know.
Yeah. So I think that, you mentioned I have 4 kids. I have one on the way. So we actually have a girl on the way, 40 years old. So personally, like family's super important to me. So I think as an entrepreneur, especially, it's like, how do you balance family, personal, and business life? And I think for me, I've always made it a mission of like family first and make sure I make those investments. I think what's super personal to me is I think once I kind of realigned, like not chasing the money per se in business and really invested in relationships and family first, the money sort of just followed. So what a lot of people don't know, like they kind of look on the outside and be like, man, like you must work 100 hours and beat your head against the wall. And I'm like, not really. Like maybe 6 hours a day, maybe 5, but like they're effective. But I've just learned to work harder. I'm sorry, smarter.
Mhm.
And just if my kids have a game or I'm coaching, I'm doing something, like it's always family first. And that's been like a non-negotiable for me. And a lot of people don't know that, right? They have these perceptions of this company, and it's like, oh, it's, you must be so busy and you're getting 1,000 emails a day. And it's like, no, really, I think I got one yesterday or two. And I'm kind of bored, so
I'm not as important as you all
I'm
think I am.
definitely not as important as I'm perceived to be at times, especially to my kids. Like I'm a personal chauffeur in that regard.
Wesley, thank you for sharing that. And I share that with you. I like to automate everything, like systems, processes, because I'm naturally a lazy person. A lot of people don't know that about me because they're like, oh my gosh, you're running 2 top 100 podcasts. You run a elite men's coaching program. I'm about to buy a Christian radio station here in Tampa.
Nice.
So yay. I have no idea what I'm doing with that, but let's see how that works out.
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. And they're like, how do you do all this? Like, you must be so slammed. I'm like, I probably work 10 to 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
The rest is kids, wife, God. It's fun. I'm living life. I'm not working to live, So that's awesome. I really would love to dig into that a little bit, just like the secret there, because
for sure.
we could talk money all day, but all the tips and strategies to making money. What's the point if like you're going home miserable because you haven't invested in those relationships, like you said?
Yeah.
So
and look, sorry to cut you. Like, it's not perfect, right? Like, it's a framework. Like, some days are bad. Like, yesterday was extremely stressful for me. I mean, let's face it, the crypto market got whacked, the stock market got whacked. I was in a bad mood. Like, a lot of bad things happened, and the family kind of suffered from that. But I think it's having a framework of I've kind of set this standard for myself of I'm awake for 16 hours a day. I sleep 8 hours a day. I'm not like I'm sleeping for 4 hours and doing this, and 16 hours in a day. How am I going to allocate that time? I've made it very clear. Like 50% of my time is family, 25% is business, 25% is personal. And that's a framework. It doesn't work out every day, but I think when I can reset every morning and think about that, especially with how many days I have off for the year, how much 25% of my waking hours I'm going to invest in business activities. 50% is family. That may be, vacation, weekends, that kind of thing. So, it's just little tips like that I just try to focus on and what's helped me along the way. It doesn't work for everybody, but for me, I'm just making a cognitive decision that, look, my kids, like I remember when they were first born. I mean, my oldest is now 13. Like, he's almost as tall as me, and he's only got 4 or 5 more years left here. And before you know it, it's going to be gone. So I'm super cognizant of that.
Now, where did you get that framework? Did you like model someone else that was successful like you did in that first business?
Yeah, sort of not really. So I've had the one of the best things I've learned throughout this entrepreneurial journey, right? And it's been since like 06, is I joined Entrepreneur Organization, EO. And what EO has allowed me to do. So EO is this great organization that has really successful entrepreneurs that join the group. So if you gross over $1 million and there's some other criteria, you can join the group. And the whole concept of that is you can be around other like-minded entrepreneurs. Because I think as an entrepreneur, it's a lonely road, right? Who do you go to for feedback, for questions? Because let's be honest, I started my company. Most of my friends went the traditional route. They went to school. They're working in corporate America. Here I am, hiring, firing, people stealing from me, clients going crazy. My wife, where do I go? Like, I felt I was going crazy. I need to go to like an institution or a psychiatrist, but I met somebody and they're like, dude, you're fine. You need EO. You need to be around like-minded entrepreneurs. And I joined that day. That changed my life. And the reasons why I share this is because with EO, they have what's called Forum. And with Forum there's about 100 people in EO Detroit. And with Forum, you meet with 7 other guys or gals that you meet with intimately once a month for 4 hours. And the whole concept of this is you dive deep, top 5%, bottom 5%, personal, family, business. And what that framework did for me was the only thing that matters in life is personal, family, business, right? So for me, I kind of played on that concept as to like, what am I spending my time on? What am I doing? But how I got to the 50, 25, 25 was kind of like a diet. Like, what do I think is the perfect balance at this time for me? And where do I want to be cognizant of my time? And I just said, I want to invest half of that time with my family. Let me figure out how to do it. So I've been able to do that through 5 to 9 at night, turn tech off, spend 4 hours with my kids. Most of my times with trips and other things and weekends. Like, I spend all my weekends with my kids. Nice. Like, the days of just going out and golfing on set, like I just don't do that. I do that stuff during the week, or I do that in my own personal time. So I kind of built it off that framework and just made it like one of those important things that I just need to be cognizant of, to say, hey, I only have so much time in a day. What are those priorities? And again, I'm not perfect. I say 5 to 9 tech off like I'm this saint. No, like yesterday, I didn't follow that. Like I think I was on my phone the entire time, and
That's because you were chasing crypto, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, how do you stay disciplined when you got like that pressing project at work that needs to get done, or there's a fire to put out, and you're in your framework, but that project or problem that's going on in your work life is pressing against or in conflict with your framework for your life?
Yeah, it happens. Like I said, sometimes it's not going to be 50% of my time allocated to family. I read a book one time. I can't remember the author. You probably know. It's called Procrastinate on Purpose. I'm a really big procrastinator. You mentioned lazy, probably lazy. I'm a big procrastinator. Like I try to focus on one thing, because what I've learned, now I'm 40, about to be 41 years old. I used to think like having 900 windows open and doing all these things, I'm like getting all this stuff done, to realize I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah.
So I really try to streamline what I'm doing and, just kind of work on 1 to 2 things. So I'm going to throw another thing out there that's been really beneficial to me, which is called EOS. That's called the Entrepreneur Operating System. So for me, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a visionary entrepreneur. So what I need to focus on is I could come up with ideas, I paint models in my head, but somebody's got to come in and do the operational side of what that is. Mm-hmm. And what EOS has taught me is, writing things down, putting rocks and goals in place quarterly, so things aren't popping up or fires aren't coming up. Thankfully, where I'm at today, we have a team of 110 awesome individuals where like there's layers upon layers of people that are in the day-to-day. So I've been fortunate enough to take myself out of the immediate firefighting. Right now we have like bigger fires, but it's more of a cadence and a structure that's set up in a way that I'm not having to jump in day to day and put out do firefighting, which is, for me, it's amazing.
It's awesome, and I appreciate us taking the time just to dig into the secret framework for personal and business success that you're talking about, because at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We want happiness, right? And a lot of us, we have business success. Like the guys I get to coach and work with in my Blow Up Rocks coaching, it's like they're killing it in business. 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, but they're going home miserable. They got no personal success, right? They're empty on the inside. Like, what do you want to say to that?
Yeah, so you're right on, right? Like there's been a lot of opportunities and things in my life where people are like, why don't you get involved in this deal and do this, and you can make so much more money. And I'm like, as soon, like I mentioned earlier, like it's hard to say, and it's kind of weird. Like as soon as I like stopped chasing money, my life got a lot easier. And knowing like, why do I want to take on those 10, 100 or whatever extra clients so I can work 16 hours a day? Like I just built something in my mind to say like, this is what I need, right? Because I've also been able to differentiate needs and wants. So I have a set of income and revenue. Like I'm weird. Like I set up these models. Like if something happened to me, how do I set my family up for success? Again, I have 4 kids, 1 on the way. Family's important, and taking care of all that's very important to me. So I've kind of defined what that channel is, and then I kind of have the fun zone. And with this channel, it's like, well, how do I create enough income and revenue streams to make sure that this is whole? And I don't have to go so far and kill myself or not be present with my family to do that. And it took me a long time to, and look, and I don't have all the magic bullets or the answers or anything like that, because I'm still a work in process, and I constantly learn every day, meet guys like you, see things, new, people that I learn from to kind of constantly improve and get better at that. Cause you can always get better, but I think it's what do you want to sacrifice? And that EO group has been really good, because look, I'm 40. And when I joined that organization, man, I was 32.
Okay.
And I was, most of the guys are like in their mid 40s. So what was really cool is I'm able to say like, this is, in 10 years, like it was just really cool to get experience share. And I see and it was really cool to then understand, to watch some of their tips and tricks. So I recommend any entrepreneur, like look for a peer group, look for other successful entrepreneurs that you can learn from, because you'll notice that they're probably working less hard than you think, and they're a lot more successful than you are. And for me, it's like, how do you model that? Because you can have the best of both worlds. And that's kind of what I'm striving for. Not for everybody. I know some people that they want to work 16 hours a day, or they're going to sleep 2 hours or 4 hours, and they want to work 20 hours and do, hey, that do you. Like, I can't tell anybody what they need to do.
Yeah.
This is just works for me from my experience.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, right? Because I think that opens it up for at least one person listening right now. They're like, oh, that's a new possibility I hadn't thought of.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
my family is important to me, but I don't know how to balance it all or integrate it all
Yeah.
into my life. So having a framework really can help with that. Let's get into business because you're the marketing guy, dude. You're
Yeah.
highlevelmarketing.com, right? So, like, what is your number one, what has been your number one marketing strategy to grow your businesses, your enterprises? What's been the number one thing that has worked for you over these past 8, 10 years?
So when I first started, I tried to be everything to everybody,
Yeah.
and that was slow growth. Once I was able to kind of focus, like right now, what we do is we focus on home services and healthcare, and we're very intentional around small to mid-sized entrepreneurial run businesses. So for us, it's being specific and creating a product and a service, kind of like a flywheel trap, where we work with plumbers, roofers, electricians. And I knew quickly that, look, back in 06, 09, websites were kind of just becoming a thing. Everybody I talked to, they weren't happy with their marketing company. So I set out on a mission to say, look, if I can create a transparent marketing organization, which typically doesn't exist, it's usually pay this fee and we'll do this hocus pocus and hopefully something works. I want to do something different to say, hey, as an entrepreneur, you work hard, you want to work with a company you can trust, you pay X, we deliver Y. This is how we get there. This is what we're doing. We work alongside with you to help manage and facilitate so for me, it was just being consistent and working and, targeting that segment and then working backwards to then understand, okay, how do we go after these clients? How do we service these clients the right way? So for us early on was, man, we grinded BNI, Business Networking International, local chapters, chambers of commerce. I mean, we just went out word of mouth. And fortunately for us, we're in digital marketing. So we kind of practice what we preach. So you Google search digital marketing, marketing services, that kind of thing. We come up number one. We get a lot of inbound leads. We focused on that in lieu of also, onboarding clients through just word of mouth and referrals. But we get a ton of referrals because we do a great job for one client. They tell 3 to 5 people. I mean, we've been fortunate to really grow our business that way. Because I think once you do a great job and really change somebody's business, that's all they talk about. Like, I've already mentioned 2 things in your podcast that changed my life. EOS changed my life. It's a book. You can read a book called Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. I'm a slow reader. I'm not the smartest guy. It took me an hour to read the book. It changed my life. Entrepreneur organization, $4,000 a year to join that group, changed my life. So, for us, it's if we can, take that model back what we did in 09 and just improve upon that and grow alongside entrepreneurs and help them. I mean, that's been the home run, to be honest.
Startup Nation, if you're thinking immediately to yourself, hey, I don't have the money right now to invest in something like EO. It sounds fantastic. Look at it this way. EO and other organizations like that, mentorships, fraternities for your, to grow your business, to grow yourself from the inside out. It's a lot cheaper than therapy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than therapy. And as entrepreneurs, it's lonely, like Wesley said,
Yeah.
especially the higher you go, the lonelier it gets. And it's difficult to relate to a lot of people, as you're trying to break out of the bucket of crabs that are pulling you back in.
Yeah.
Saying you can't do that. Where you think you're going. You're not better than us. And you have those crabs in your life, those relationships in your life you need to break free from. So when you lock arms or claws with, some of these other people that have got out of the bucket, so to speak, where you want to get to, man, it changes everything, for sure. So thanks for
Yeah.
speaking to that, Wesley.
Yeah, and I think for your listeners, I mean, if I can offer one piece of value, it's I could probably dive deeper in the weeds as to like what EO specifically has done. Like, I'm a visionary guy. I like specifics, and I have specifics on what that's actually done for me. So if you talk about, the investment and the time, you know, I look at those things like those are investments. Like if you want to go buy Apple stock, you have a hunch it's going to grow to whatever, you know, that revenue that I invested in myself will pay more dividends, business, personal, family, more than any stock would. And guess what? It doesn't violently go down like it did yesterday. So like you can constantly keep giving that gift out and keep learning from it. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
That is powerful. What's been your number one success habit personally, like daily habit, that helps you stay motivated, helps you take consistent action, even on those days when you don't feel like it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think for me, I've been big on like I'm just a man of my word and I show up. So I don't think I've ever missed a meeting, or I'm there for people. So I think in business or like your company, right, you have like your sphere of people, your team, and just like the non-negotiables.
Hmm.
I like when I can count on people,
Yeah.
and I overly want to know, like, let people know that they can count on me. So part of my hiring conversations with people, because I'm a very non-conventional guy, as you can probably realize through our conversation, I used to tell people, and like even people that work for me, it's kind of a ongoing joke, but I'm serious. I said, hey, I was interviewing this guy. His name's Matt. It was going well, but like I'm a big culture guy, and I'm like I lead with family first. So like people love that because they know like, oh, Wes's son plays hockey. He's there. Like people pay attention to that, and I'm authentic about it. It's not like I'm trying to be something I'm not. But I told Matt, I said, hey, did anybody ever want to beat you up in high school? He's like, yeah, actually, yeah. I said, did they say meet me at the tree at 4:00 and I'm gonna like kick your butt? I was like, yeah. I said, I'm the guy that shows up with you. That'll like help you kind of take care of that. And I think that's what I've always led with. Like people can count on me. I've always just made that a big part of who I am. And people see it. So they know, like, I would say my leadership style and just the culture, like people didn't necessarily come to me and say, this client's bugging me with this, or like this process sucks. It's, hey, I'm going through this thing. Can I ask you a piece of your advice? Or my parent's sick. Can we talk about this? Because I think in business, you have to look at the personal and the family and the business. Like they all tie together. And people that can say compartmentalize this, that, and this, and family life should say a family and business. Good luck running your company to see how long you stay successful. Because if people have a good personal life, a good family life, like they're going to perform for you. And that's been my thing, man. Just showing up, and staying, keeping my head on a swivel, and just kind of looking for, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that answers it. I kind of feel it didn't, but
I think it did. I think you're clear on your non-negotiables. You're clear on your mindset. You're clear on getting specific is what leads to success, right? Really niching down and also proclaiming unabashedly, this is who I am and this is what you could count on me for.
yeah,
And I think a lot of us, we have those qualities, but we're very shy about telling people about them.
yeah,
We just kind of let them guess. I hope they see that I am this person that keeps my word, or I'm this person that shows up. But you actually market it. You use stories to market it. I'm the guy that will meet you there, and we're going to beat that guy together, bro.
right.
Like, that's cool. That's
Yeah, I think
cool.
early on as an entrepreneur, something that I've learned now and I still work on is I used to not understand why people don't understand what's going on in my head, or why I'm not getting what I'm talking about. And that took me a long time to realize and calm down about. And I just had to like take a step back and say, look, I have to invest the time and the patience, which I have none of. Like I have zero patience for a lot of things, but like people as the leader, they're thirsting for your direction. You have to be articulate. And it kind of sounds stupid, but like as soon as I started writing stuff down and then saying, if we understand each other correctly, it's this, this, and this, I started getting the results I would want. Because otherwise I just paint these models and things in my head. And then I have all these people running around doing all these different things. I was like struggling. And I used to blame people. I used to blame the team and say, man, why isn't this person doing this? And we're not doing this. And I did that for years. And then I realized one day, oh, this is my problem. This is a me problem.
Yeah.
Everything I'm complaining about and pointing fingers at, it's all my problem. And as soon as I recognized that, that's kind of when things started to change. because it's always like any problem or any challenge with somebody. It's like, what's my part in that? Like,
Yes.
what did I do? Right. And that completely changed my perspective. And again, I'm no saint. It's a framework. Things happen, heat of the moment. I quickly default to go to who I am. But I think when you take a step back in retrospect, I usually caused it.
You know, being able to take extreme ownership
Yeah.
of your life, of your mess, of your mistakes, of your decisions, the good ones and the bad ones, that can radically change the trajectory of your life. For sure. And that's awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Wesley, welcome to my favorite part of the show. Welcome to the hustle round. I'm going to ask you 10 quick fire questions. You'll have about 3 seconds to answer each. Don't overthink it. It's just for fun. Think of it like a game show. Are you ready?
Ready?
What's your favorite thing about owning all these businesses?
Freedom.
What's your least favorite thing?
Oh. Man, that's a tough one. The pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot. I believe we're all struggling with something at any given moment of our life. It's just part of the human condition. What are you currently challenged with right now, either professionally or personally?
Professionally, it's we're striving to be $100 million company, and we are now a $20 million company. And I think to go to the next level creates a whole new framework.
Mm-hmm.
So what got us here isn't going to get us there.
That's right.
And it's retooling the factory to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little uncharted territory, but it's challenging yet complex and fun at the same time.
Yeah. What are you most afraid of?
Probably my health. I'm always worried about just like being around for my kids. That constantly worries me.
Yeah, that's a big one, especially when you turn 40.
Yeah.
You're like, wake up call. What did you spend way too much time doing this past year?
Worrying, probably.
All right, got it. Did it get you anywhere closer?
No.
Nah. Okay. What are you gonna do the rest of the year? Worry or not worry?
What's that? Sorry, I broke up a little bit.
I said, what are you gonna do the rest of the year? Continue worrying or not worry?
I'm going to change that. I'm going to focus. And I think I need to spend more time in gratitude.
Yeah.
Be thankful
sure.
for what I have, not what I don't have.
Yeah. You attract more of what you actually want. What secret fear do you have about people?
What secret do I have about people?
What secret fear do you have about people?
Oh, fear. I always have this underlying fear, like, are they being authentic? I give my all. I'm very transparent. But I think, look, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO of a company, and you just always worry about, do people have the right intentions? Are they feeding you lines of crap? Or that's hard.
Yeah, for sure. What do you wish you had learned sooner in business?
Kind of everything I shared today, honestly. I wish I would have just, stopped chasing the money, got affiliated with other like-minded entrepreneurs, and gotten the support right off the bat versus waiting the time period I did.
Nice. What's a new habit you're going to create this year?
New habit I'm going to create this year. I'm definitely going to play 60 rounds of golf. That's a
In
good
your
habit.
personal time only.
Personal time only.
Yeah, for sure. What's a bad habit you're going to break?
I need to eat better. So I definitely need to, would probably be the opposite. I need to engage in more exercise. So I'll take the opposite of that question. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. All right. Pick 3 words to describe who you are now.
Father, entrepreneur, friend.
Pick 3 words to describe who you were your first year in business.
Puzzled, naive, curious.
Okay. And last question, Wesley. If you could come back to life after you died, look your family, your friends, your wife, your kids in the eye, and give them only one piece of advice about real success, what would you say to them?
Quality time. Quality time spent is really success. Happiness with you and those you care about trumps everything. That means more than anything.
I agree. This is the part of the show where you get to give my audience, Startup Nation, a homework assignment for this week. If they're ready and they really want the things they say they want and they're willing to do the work, what is the one action they need to take this week?
So start with the end in mind and get your thoughts down on paper. So I think whether it's personal, I'm going to say use my regiment, personal, family, business. Start with the end in mind and then work backwards. Figure out how you need to get there. And if you can't figure it out yourself, reach out to a mentor, somebody that has been there that you kind of put on a pedestal, and just ask for help. So write down your goal, work backwards, and then potentially reach out to a mentor to see if they can get you there faster.
All right, Startup Nation, you have your homework assignment for the week. Are you willing to take it on? That's the question. Or are you just pretending that you actually want those things? It's up to you. It's up to you. Startup Nation, if you enjoy this show, go to first100k.com, first100k.com, or iTunes and write a good review. Write something nice about Wesley, man. He rocked it today, I think. He gave a lot of value for you. Wesley, what's the best way for Startup Nation to get in touch with you if they so choose? What do you got for them?
Yeah, probably. I would say LinkedIn. Wesley Mathews with 1T. If you remember my face, you'll see me on there. High level marketing. But yeah, honestly, like I get message I love to engage with entrepreneurs, and I'll never tell anybody what to do, but I offer anything I can help from an experience share perspective. Love to give that feedback. And Joseph, to your point, if I can help one entrepreneur from that's listening on here, that's a success for me. That's what kind of keeps me motivated, to be honest.
Wesley Mathews, thank you for being on your first 100K today. Thank you for sharing all these values with us, man. This really helped,
Thank you.
Made
I
it clear.
appreciate it.
It was concise. It was awesome. I wish you God's love, peace, and joy in your life, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Joseph.